Imagine standing on the edge of a 750-crore cliff.
I mean, that is a terrifying visual right there.
Right, but that is exactly the budget of the mythological cinematic epic we are unpacking today. And when a studio puts that kind of astronomical financing on the line, the pressure on the lead actor to carry the film is just, well, it's crushing.
Oh, absolutely. If the audience doesn't believe that the person on screen is a legitimate, awe-inspiring demigod from the very first frame, the entire production just collapses.
Exactly. So welcome to this deep dive. Today we are taking you through a truly wild piece of source material, Chapter 14, The Forge of Legends. And our mission for this deep dive is to examine the anatomy of extreme dedication.
We're going to explore how one actor's preparation didn't just change his own body and mind, but, fundamentally altered the entire culture of a massive movie set.
Okay, let's unpack this, because turning a human into a mythological warrior requires a level of intensity that just defies standard logic.
Yeah, because the standard protocol for action movie preparation is mostly cosmetic.
Right, the usual Hollywood vanity muscles.
Exactly. Actors undergo hypertrophy training to build the chest, arms, shoulders, so they look good on a poster. The studio usually hires a celebrity trainer, they shoot a cool behind-the-scenes workout montage, and the actor learns just enough stunt choreography to survive quick camera cuts.
So they can fake it in editing.
Right. But what happens in this chapter is the absolute definition of complete ego dissolution in the pursuit of artistic perfection. This wasn't a workout routine, it was a total rewiring of a human being, physically, culturally, psychologically.
So let's jump straight into day one, because that is where the baseline of this entire production just gets completely shattered. We are at dawn, on the outskirts of Hyderabad, at a traditional open-air Kalari martial arts facility.
I love this scene, just packed earth floors, ancient weapons hanging on the walls.
Yeah. And the director, S.S. Rajamouli, and this elite Kalari master, Gurukkal Vasudevan, are waiting for their lead actor, Anant, to arrive. And the goal for this morning is supposed to be simple. Assess his current fitness level and build a 6-month foundation program to get him into warrior shape.
Which is a highly typical runway. I mean, it takes time to condition tendons and joints for martial arts.
So Anant arrives, wearing loose cotton clothes, respectfully greets the master in Malayalam, and the Gurukkal asks him to demonstrate his baseline strength with some basic push-ups.
Just a standard warm-up test.
Right. Anant drops to the earthen floor and casually performs 50 strict push-ups. And before anyone can even say a word, he shifts his weight and goes straight into one-armed push-ups.
Just zero hesitation.
25 on his left arm, 25 on his right. His core is completely locked, perfect biomechanical form.
And he doesn't stop there, does he?
No. He kicks up against the brick wall of the facility and knocks out 15 handstand push-ups, followed immediately by a 3-minute plank.
Wow.
Yeah. And when he finally stands up and removes his shirt for the flexibility assessment, the room just goes dead silent, because the dense athletic warrior physique they were planning to build over the next half year is already sitting right in front of them.
Because Rajamouli and the Gurukkal are looking at a body forged by functional utility, not gym mirrors. Anant explains that he has actually been practicing Kalari and yoga for 15 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah, alongside military conditioning for his previous film, URI, and athletic prep for MS Dhoni. He didn't arrive hoping to get ready. He showed up fully prepared.
Which brings us to the real shock of the morning. The Gurukkal asks him to perform the Kalari Mayapayatu, the foundational body conditioning forms.
And his kicks are just going head high, snap in the air.
Then he picks up the urumi. And for anyone who hasn't seen one, an urumi is a flexible, whip-like sword. It is notoriously dangerous.
Oh, incredibly dangerous.
If you misjudge the momentum or the angle by even a fraction of an inch, the blade wraps around your own body and slices you to ribbons.
Yeah, wielding an urumi requires just an incredible amount of kinetic awareness. You're not swinging a static piece of metal. You're managing centrifugal force.
You have to know exactly where the flexible blade is in space at all times.
Exactly. And when Anant begins flowing with it, the Gurukkal actually has to stop him. He realizes he isn't watching a beginner. Anant reveals he has been training under the Gurukkal's own guru's lineage brother in Delhi for years.
Which is just a crazy small world moment. And because of this, the production timeline instantly drops from 6 months to just 3.
Right.
It is the equivalent of a student showing up for freshman algebra, walking past the teacher, and casually solving a complex differential equation on the chalkboard.
That is a great way to put it.
But wait, I have to push back on this for a second. If the hero of the film is already at a master level on day one, and the actor playing the villain, Sudheer Babu, is a complete novice to martial arts, doesn't that fundamentally break the tension of the movie?
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, if the hero is miles ahead of his opponent, the villain doesn't look like a threat, and all the stakes just evaporate.
Well, Anant recognizes that exact vulnerability immediately. He tells the director, quote, "A hero is only as compelling as his opponent. The dragon has to be genuinely terrifying, or the knight's victory means absolutely nothing."
That makes total sense.
So rather than enjoying his 3-month head start and relaxing, Anant makes a stunning proposal. He volunteers to personally co-train his antagonist, Sudhir.
He volunteers to train the guy who is supposed to be fighting him on screen.
Yes.
And he and the Gurukkal put Sudhir through an agonizing regimen. We are talking 6 days a week, 6 hours a day.
It's brutal.
They dedicate the mornings to raw strength conditioning, the afternoons to Kalari and weapons, and the evenings to intense flexibility and recovery work.
And the mechanics of how Anant approaches this training really reveal his highly analytical mind. Sudhir is a former badminton champion, right?
Right, which seems totally unrelated to sword fighting.
Exactly. To an outside observer, swatting a shuttlecock has zero overlap with ancient warfare. But Anant sees the hidden biomechanical connection.
Oh, that's fascinating.
He breaks down Sudhir's explosive badminton footwork. You know, the way a player lunges and recovers instantly. He isolates the rotational torque Sudhir generates through his hips to deliver a smash, and his elite hand-eye coordination.
So he just translates those existing neural pathways into martial arts strikes.
Exactly. He hacks the guy's muscle memory. He bypasses the beginner phase by mapping sword strikes onto movements Sudhir has already practiced thousands of times on a court.
And to fuel all of this massive caloric burn, Anant, who is a vegan, designs a colossal 5-meal-a-day plant-based diet for Sudhir to pack on dense muscle without adding fat.
Plus Ayurveda massages and cold therapy for faster recovery.
Right, and through sheer analytical willpower, they compress Sudhir's training timeline down to just 2 months.
Now, what's fascinating here is that Anant is quietly accomplishing a secondary objective. By spending 6 hours a day sparring and training with Sudhir, Anant is deeply studying his opponent.
Wait, what do you mean?
He is mapping Sudhir's natural reflexes. He's measuring his reach, learning his flinch responses. He is gathering crucial biometric data so that when they finally choreograph the film's climax, the fight scenes will feel visceral and dangerous.
Wow. So it's a brilliant strategy disguised as generosity.
Exactly. It's a masterclass in collaborative elevation.
But you know, that level of strategic, data-driven calculation almost sounds intimidating. It paints a picture of someone who operates like a machine, just analyzing variables, optimizing timelines, and relentlessly driving toward a goal.
Yeah, he sounds like a robot.
Which makes his behavior outside the training facility so surprising.
Oh, it really does. The intense discipline in the gym only represents one facet of his personality. About 6 weeks into this grueling camp, Sudhir invites Anant to his home for a vegetarian dinner.
And Sudhir's wife, Priyadarshini, has been listening to her husband recount the daily torture he is enduring at the hands of this actor. So she is expecting a demanding, arrogant superstar to walk through her door.
Naturally. But Anant arrives, and almost immediately, Priyadarshini decides to test him. She starts relentlessly teasing him.
Which is amazing.
She points out that he is a 22-year-old heartthrob with a perfect physique, and she laughingly warns him that the girls in South India are incredibly direct, and they're going to completely devour him once filming begins.
And the highly analytical, hyper-focused martial artist just completely evaporate.
Completely. Anant turns into a blushing, stuttering mess. His face flushes furiously through his chocolate brown skin, and he just keeps stammering, "I'm only here to work. I'm only here to work."
It is a wonderful paradox. The same guy who casually swings a lethal whip sword around his head is utterly defeated by a friend's wife making a joke.
It really strips away the myth-making and reveals a very grounded young man. He ends up spending the evening playing on the floor with Sudhir and Priyadarshini's 2 daughters, who are 5 and 8 years old.
And he shares that he actually helped raise his own 13-year-old sister Anjali, right?
Yeah, and that dinner culminates in a deeply poignant moment. While the children are playing, Priyadarshini pulls Anant aside. She stops joking and sincerely thanks him.
Just for the physical training.
No, she isn't just thanking him for the training, she is thanking him for advocating for Sudhir to get the role in the first place. She explains that this film isn't just another job for their family. It represents long-term financial security. It is a life-changing opportunity.
You can just imagine the weight of that conversation settling on Anant's shoulders. He realizes he isn't just making a movie, he is stepping into a community.
Right.
He doesn't just want to be a tourist who flies into the South, shoots his scenes, and leaves. He wants to belong to it. And that desire for genuine connection directly informs how he tackles his next massive hurdle, which is the language barrier.
Yeah, this is a huge pivot. The film is being shot in Telugu, and Anant is from the north. And the conventional approach for a Bollywood actor stepping into a regional film is to rent a suite in an isolated luxury hotel, learn the lines phonetically without understanding them, and rely on a voice actor to dub the performance in post-production.
But Anant rejects that conventional approach entirely. He bypasses the luxury hotels and rents a small, modest apartment right in the middle of a middle-class Telugu neighborhood.
Which is a bold move.
Oh, for sure. If you have ever tried to learn a second language as an adult, you know how incredibly humbling it is. You have to be willing to sound foolish in public. But Anant intentionally seeks out that discomfort.
He avoids formal, sterile classroom instruction. He wants to learn the authentic, colloquial Hyderabad dialect, so he learns directly from the people living it. He practices with auto rickshaw drivers, local shopkeepers, his neighbors.
Because they do not have a filter. They don't care that he is a famous actor. When he mispronounces a word, they just bluntly correct him on the spot.
Yeah, he is absorbing the rhythm, the cadence, and the musicality of the dialect straight from the streets.
And the effectiveness of this immersion becomes undeniably clear during a script dinner with the core production team. They are seated on the floor, sharing a traditional meal.
And this group includes the heavyweights of the production. Rajamouli's father, the legendary screenwriter K.V. Vijayendra Prasad, and Rajamouli's wife, Rama, who is the lead costume designer.
Right, the real decision makers. And during a rapid-fire conversation in Telugu, someone makes a highly specific, culturally nuanced joke. And before anyone can translate, Anant laughs. Genuinely and at the exact right moment.
Rajamouli is taken aback by that. She points out that Anant isn't just translating vocabulary in his head, he's actually comprehending their cultural worldview.
He gets it.
Yeah, the local community has actually embraced him as a neighborhood celebrity, not because of his cinematic fame, but because of his respect and approachability. He shops at local markets, he respects the elders, he navigates their culture with real humility.
To embody a mythological icon deeply rooted in South Indian heritage, he knows that reciting phonetic lines is just insufficient. An actor must adopt the psychology of the language.
Exactly.
Now, perfecting the warrior physique, mastering the ancient weapons, and absorbing a localized dialect, I mean, that combination alone forms the foundation of an incredible Oscar-worthy performance.
You would think that's enough, right?
Yeah, but Anant realizes there is still a gap. He has the body and the mind of a demigod, but he needs to express the spiritual devotion of the character.
And that realization leads to the most daunting challenge of the entire process.
The artistic crucible. In the script, there is a relatively simple scene where Bahubali's son, Shivudu, who Anant is also playing, offers a basic prayer at a shrine for Lord Shiva.
Anant approaches Rajamouli with just an audacious idea. He suggests replacing the simple prayer with a complex classical dance fusion of Bharatanatyam and Kathak to honor Nataraja, the Lord of Dance.
Rajamouli is highly skeptical, obviously.
Of course. These classical dance forms are notoriously rigorous. Practitioners train for years, sometimes decades, to achieve proficiency. And the production only has 4 weeks before this scene needs to be shot.
But despite the skepticism, Anant insists. So the production flies in 2 absolute titans of classical dance. Lakshmi Viswanathan for Bharatanatyam and Saswati Sen for Kathak.
And these veteran instructors arrive expecting a stiff, arrogant film star looking to learn a few superficial poses for the camera.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. On the very first day, Lakshmi asks Anant to demonstrate the basic Aramandi position.
Which is an incredibly taxing half-sitting posture that requires extreme hip turnout and core stability.
Right. And Anant drops into it flawlessly. And then when Saswati asks him to attempt a Kathak sequence, he executes the intricate footwork and the rapid spins the chakras with perfect balance.
The veteran teachers are just witnessing the synthesis of everything Anant has been building. I mean, his years of Kalari training provided the grounded, immense core strength required to hold that punishing Aramandi posture without trembling.
And his experience managing the momentum of the urumi sword gave him the kinetic awareness to spot his spins perfectly.
Exactly. Combine those physical mechanics with his photographic memory, And he is able to replicate complex choreography almost instantly.
But the sheer volume of information he is absorbing is staggering. I mean, trying to learn two deeply spiritual, rhythmically complex classical dance forms in 4 weeks is like trying to learn two foreign languages simultaneously and immediately writing award-winning poetry in them.
It's insane. The math of his daily schedule is terrifying. He is doing martial arts in the morning, Bharatanatyam at midday, Kathak in the afternoon, and studying Telugu at night.
So when is he sleeping?
He's surviving on 5 hours of sleep a night. He casually tells Sudheer that 5 hours is sufficient for recovery, and anything more is an inefficient use of time.
He is operating on the razor's edge of human endurance.
Absolutely.
So 3 weeks into this brutal regimen, Rajamouli comes to the rehearsal hall to check on the progress. And Anant performs the 5-minute fusion piece.
And how did it go?
The technical precision is flawless, but it is the emotional resonance that changes everything. The performance is so steeped in genuine devotion that both veteran dance teachers are moved to tears.
Wow.
Rajamouli is so staggered by the artistry that he instantly upgrades the scene from a minor transitional moment to a massive centerpiece of the film.
The physical transformation, the cultural immersion, and the artistic preparation are finally complete. The individual components have been forged. Now the production must bring in the rest of the cast and see if this intense preparation holds up under the massive machinery of a film set.
And the ripple effect of Anant's excellence immediately impacts casting. For the role of Devasena, a fierce, complex warrior princess, Anant strongly advocates for Parvathy Thiruvuthu.
She is a highly respected Malayalam method actress, right? Known for profound, character-driven performances.
Yes, but the studio is hesitant. They prefer a more standard commercial heroine mold. Anant then pushes back, arguing that the character requires a rare mix of formidable warrior strength and deep vulnerability that only Parvathy can deliver.
And when Parvathy arrives and meets Anant, she expresses genuine surprise at his advocacy. Because the standard dynamic in massive commercial blockbusters is driven by insecurity. Many lead actors intentionally surround themselves with weaker co-stars to ensure they are never outshone on screen.
But Anant's response is incredibly revealing. He tells her, "Insecure actors do that. I want to be surrounded by excellence."
He understands that a rising tide lifts all boats. His performance will only be as powerful as the actors pushing against him.
Sudheer, who has endured months of physical torment alongside Anant at this point, actually pulls Parvathy and the other lead actress, Tamana Bhatia, aside to give them a warning.
What did he say?
He tells them that Anant is going to ruin them for ordinary actors. Anant's relentless intensity, his generosity, and his refusal to compromise set a standard that is terrifying to keep up with, but impossible to forget once you experience it.
That is high praise.
So all of this preparation culminates in the costume fitting. Anant has gained 8 kilograms of pure, lean muscle over the last few months. He has grown out his own hair and beard. Rajamouli dresses him in intricate, earth-toned armor, and when he steps onto the set for the very first day of principal photography, the atmosphere shifts.
The scene requires no dialogue and no action. It is simply a shot of Bahubali walking out of the morning mist. It is entirely about physical presence.
Rajamouli calls action. Anant walks forward, and the grounded weight of his steps, the nobility in his posture, he doesn't look like an actor playing a part. He embodies the myth completely. It takes one single take. Rajamouli calls cut, and he is overcome with emotion. He looks at Anant and declares that in that one single shot, Anant just justified 3 years of development and a 750 crore budget.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is the profound value of Anant's extreme methodology. A 750 crore budget creates a paralyzing amount of financial anxiety for a studio.
Oh, without a doubt.
But Anant's leadership, advocating for brilliant co-stars, demanding more from himself than anyone else, mastering the local language, perfectly translating badminton mechanics into swordplay, and honoring the culture through classical dance. He systematically de-risked the most expensive movie in Indian history before the cameras even started rolling.
It is a phenomenal journey to trace. I mean, he went from casually dropping into 50 one-armed push-ups on day one to dedicating hours of his own time to elevate the villain's performance.
Yeah.
He subjected himself to the blunt corrections of auto drivers just to learn a dialect authentically, mastered a deeply spiritual dance fusion in a matter of weeks, and ultimately forced an entire massive production to rise to his level.
The title of the chapter, The Forge of Legends, is remarkably fitting. It proves that creating a legend isn't about lifting weights in a gym. It requires a state of complete, unwavering submission to the art form.
It demands every piece of you. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the source material, There is a thought I want to leave you with, something to carry with you today. We explored how Anant intentionally made himself shine brighter by pouring his own time and energy into making his enemy, Sudheer, stronger.
Right.
We live in a culture that constantly tells us to guard our secrets, to view our peers as competition, and to fight for the spotlight. How might your own life change if you stopped seeing the people around you as competition to beat and started treating them as partners to elevate?
What if the secret to achieving your own legendary performance is actually found in how much you help others succeed? It completely reframes how we define excellence. True mastery is never a zero-sum game.
Beautifully said. We hope you take a bit of that extreme dedication and that incredibly collaborative spirit into whatever challenges you are tackling today, because whether you are trying to convince the world you are a demigod or just trying to lead a project at work, the outcome is entirely dictated by how you prepare. But for now, we are stepping out of the mist, leaving the traditional Hollywood workout montages behind, and leaving you with the blueprint for something much bigger. Thanks for joining us.